Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. My name is Timmy Kemza James. For our new and old subscribers, you're all welcome to today's video. So in this video, I'm going to be showing you how to alter a wedding dress. So the alteration we are going to be doing today is to change this lace and also the illusion on the neckline. So because the most of the body of the wedding dress is tulle, we are going to be using tulle for the upper side as well. So what I'm going to be doing is to be removing this illusion because she didn't want the lace, sorry. So I'm going to be removing the lace. As you can see, she didn't even want the material, it was too covered, and she didn't like the lace because it was kind of outdated. So we bought a new lace, which you can see this one here. It has this really nice pattern that I'm going to be cutting out just the borderline of this lace to use on the sleeve. So what I did was to get a tulle fabric like so that matches this. So initially I wanted to add this nude net underneath it because it should match the net on the fabric, since the net is a little bit outdated, but it didn't work, so I just ended up using plain white. Now I loosened out the illusion neckline, then I went ahead to sew a new bodice, right, like yoke bodice, like you can see, using the tulle. So I doubled it because she wanted a little bit more conservative and at the same time nice. So I doubled the net and I made this blouse, right? So on the sleeve, before I joined the bodies, I just joined the neck and the armhole, right? So I just laid down this applique that I got from that lace that I told you we're going to use. So for this border side that is longer, I just sort of made my design to sit nicely, like I just let the lace speak to me, right? So this side that is longer, I placed it on the middle part of the sleeve. I went ahead to iron that so that I get that middle crease line to guide me. So I went ahead to pin and I cut out my sleeve pattern. I did the same thing on the other hand. Then I went ahead to hand stitch. Now you can use glue before hand stitching, but because it was net, I was skeptical about adding glue to it. I didn't know how it would react on her body, so I hand stitch. Is a very tedious and a time consuming job, that hand stitching. So when I was done, I went ahead to close the body of the illusion, starting from the sleeve all the way to the body, right, which the body was not that much. Don't forget, it was more like a yoke kind of a thing or a bolero kind of a thing, just that I attached it to the dress. So I turned to the other side and I did the same thing, right? Guys, I wish this job was this fast. It took me a very long time to hand stitch that net lace that you can see. So by the time I was done, I trimmed off my excess sewing allowances and I flipped it to the right side. Then I went ahead to fix it on the body of the dress. So I matched seam line to seam line, that's the armhole seam line, to the side seam line of the dress itself. I matched the middle point to the middle point. Then I started measuring from my underbust so that I can know where exactly it would stay, the yoke would stay, right? So by the time I measured, I pinned them down and I took them to the sewing machine to like sew on it, right? So when I was sewing this, one thing I ensured was that, number one, my thread matches. So I used the white thread and I made sure I was sewing just exactly at the tip of where the tube of the dress begins. I repeat, just at the tube there, because that seam is going to be outside. So you have to do it in a very clean way. The cleanest as possible is what you are going to be doing. So by the time I was done doing that, I back stitch. I went all the way to the back, right? So you can return the buttons if you want. So by the time I was done, I ended up returning the button, although I eventually changed the back neckline, but that's not necessary for this video. So this is what it looks like, you can see. So it looks a little bit more modern than it was before, and That is it about this video, guys. Please give me a thumbs up and see you in my next